This is Dreams Money Can Buy. And in the studio with me today is a man with, I feel like, I can't label him one thing. And I think that's what makes him so much of a pleasure. And it's just an experience as an individual who he just creates, you know? And I think his passion of giving you a visual story, an audio story, and just always trying to be breathtaking in that experience. And we have in here today, Julian Stephen. Julian Stephen, how you doing?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed and grateful. Always. Always, brother.
So this busy man, we had to make sure I booked him out like a month into in advance because I know he's doing a lot of things. Appropriate Culture is doing its thing. Other projects are coming along, so unnamed. So we're going to leave that as surprises for you guys to experience when it's time for you to experience it. But Julian, let's start from the beginning. School. I know you grew up in Queens.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
I grew up in Queens.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Queens is, I'm in the suburbs, so it's like quiet, you know. But I'm like I'm like in between Jamaica. You know, my best friend, he's over in Left Rack, but then I have friends over in Bayside. So I'm seeing like both sides of it. I'm seeing like you could be one block here. Shit is different. It's like a low, you know, you on the Ave 1 second, next second I'm over in like Bay Terrace. You know what I'm saying?
So there's two different experiences.
You're seeing two different experiences. And I grew up right on the cusp of that, you know, so I was always dipping back and forth into each world, you know. So Queens to me was it's like that duality.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like because you're like a product of the city, right? Where it comes to not only just being book smart and street smart, but how that intersects. So kind of like magnificently. So when it comes to elementary, junior high school, and then eventually college, like that kind of like molding experience, like how did you get to like, you know, the talents that you have right now when it comes to the writing, when it comes to the script writing, when it comes to, you know, the shorts, TV shows, all that, like the music, everything. What kind of like helped mold you up in those like formative years in school and stuff like that?
Well, I have a musical family.
Mm-hmm.
I have a very artistic, creative family. Like my father has a theater background. My grandmother is a jazz musician. My aunt, jazz. I have a lot of jazz influence in my family. And my older brother, he grew up making beats. So at 13, my brother was making beats in the crib. I'm 9 years old around just beats. And you know, music was always in the mix. And I always was fascinated with entertainment in general. You know, I discovered Fresh Prince at an early age. I discovered sitcoms, the magic of just the culture.
Golden years.
Early age, you know, and I was just fascinated with it. You know, so I was always around it, or better yet, it was always around me. So growing up in school, I discovered that writing was one of my major talents because, like, I would win writing competitions effortlessly.
Wow.
Like, I never had, like, a desire to win. I would win arts and crafts competitions effortlessly. I was just being my innocent self.
You were just doing. You weren't even trying.
I was just doing it, you know, and I would win. And, like, I would get, like, these major accolades, and I would come home like, hey, like, they saying that I got this first prize for this, you know. Fast forward into college, I won a competition where I got free tuition for a year for a performance.
This is at City.
At City, yeah. Okay. Oh, you did your research, damn. Well,
I would not waste your time as your friend to have you here not pay attention.
But yeah, so I won a year free tuition. So it always found me. Like it always found me. Like, but in the moments when I didn't have any desires for it to find me, I was just being myself naturally, and then like a grand opportunity would come, and I was like, oh shit, maybe this is what I need to be doing. So storytelling has always been my passion.
Okay, so a few things that you said with that answer. So I do have something for the 90s. I'm going to save that for a little bit. So before we get into the 90s, I want to touch on, so you talked about the writing and the music background of your family. And I mentioned this before with you. I listened to all of your projects that were on. I'm talking about from like the past, right?
Yeah.
So, and we had a discussion about it, and but like, I feel like your evolution as a person, right? When it comes to all those projects, we have University of Julian 1, University of Julian 2, we have Prince Charming, we have Awkward Moments.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things when it comes to your ability to, discuss what you were seeing in life at those points.
Yeah.
And then we kind of like flash forward to the season 1 and season 2 soundtracks of Appropriate Culture. Season 2 is not out yet, but I know it's going to be amazing when it's finally released. Like, that journey in music, like, let's talk about that, because you do come from a musically gifted family. How does music help you in life when it comes to you just experiencing and creating and kind of like just transmitting your type of vision to the world?
I want to say now, music for me is the most therapeutic thing in the world.
Wow, okay.
I want to say in my earlier years, I didn't appreciate the process as much as like I should have, because of like the outward chase, like the desire.
Because it was more aggressive when you were younger.
It was aggressive. It wasn't as, it wasn't as intentional. It wasn't as purposeful. Now I'm in a space where if I hear a beat, before I even write, I'm like, what am I going to say? Like, what is my perspective? It used to be like, oh, I'm going to make this hook. I'm going to make this hit song. I'm going to sing, But there's so many layers to it, so many ideas and there's so much to that process that like you need to really peel back and focus on, like when you're making music and telling these stories. And that's things that I never did. I never looked at myself from the outside in.
Okay.
And I'm in a space where what's important to me is like perspective. Perspective is like the biggest thing for me, because without perspective, why are we telling these stories? There is no, like, it makes no sense. There's no purpose. So now I'm just in a space where the evolution of music, my relationship with music has become something more spiritual and more therapeutic for me.
Okay.
And it's a cleansing of like my thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and I definitely, because when I was researching a lot of the performances you're on, like websites, I know you've, I think Low Key, shout out to Low Key from Duce Palooza. He was in his music writing bag. So this is way, way back. And he wrote about, your potential as a musician. And not to say that you haven't hit that. I feel like you are very good at pivoting and knowing when to pivot for you to evolve in the process that you need to be. So as you're saying right now with the music, how you're extremely intentional and purposeful with the music you do now, how did you, when it comes to like that work, how did you feel like that more hungry young Julian to like to now kind of like more laid back? Because even then you got to work with Travis Scott before he blew up, and you said it was all love. And there's a lot of things that people don't know that, I didn't know. I was like, I didn't know Julian did this. And it's like,
I have a history. I have a past. I have like years under my belt, So for me, like, this year is so important for me. That's why I was like, you know what? I need to just stop and reflect and just like appreciate those moments and take it all in, And for me, I needed to just redirect all of my energy, because what I've been doing for so long is chasing something outwardly, And I think, what is it called? Is grind culture.
I put myself out.
Yeah, like I'm in a space where I'm like a rapper, and as I'm getting older and as I'm progressing and evolving, yes, I'm getting better as a musician. I'm getting better as a writer. I'm getting better as slowly but surely. But am I getting better as a human? Am I getting better as a man? Am I getting better as a friend? And these are the things when I was like, okay, well, I never looked at it this way. So this didn't work. X, Y, Z didn't work. Let me take away the art and let me examine myself as a person. What type of person am I? Then that shifts and that becomes, and like you say, the pivot, I only pivoted because I always pivot, because sometimes you can't tell the story audio. Like, I can't always tell the story I want to tell in a song. And I can't always tell the story that I want to tell in a TV show, you know. And these pieces of content, they travel at different frequencies, at different speeds to different people. And they resonate with different people. And I think the most selfish thing, it could be the most selfish thing, it could be the smartest thing, is that I never wanted to let go of either art. And I never will.
Okay.
For me, it's all about balance. You know, Lakeith Stanfield, he just said it on Hot 97. He was just like, every genius is able to tap in when they choose to, and not everyone can do that. Tap into the booth, tap into the set. You know, just being able to morph and shift like that. And I always imagined it as a person that the more I worked, the more I did it, it would get easier and it would get better. But it was just getting harder and harder. You know what I mean? So now I'm in a space where I'm like, let me just stop. Let me just, like right now in this moment, let me just stop. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm in a space where it's like, oh, we here in the studio? Okay, bet. Play the beat. I barely even need to write.
Because you're like at
what am I thinking about? What do I need to figure out? You know, it's all about you knowing yourself. So the pivot is really like just like what it's called, a pivot. You working on your game, you know, and you have to know the difference between practice and the game itself.
Talking about practice, but yes.
We talking about practice, yeah, you know, and rest in peace. But Kobe Bryant took ballet to work on his footwork. Mm-hmm. You know, that's the type of work ethic that it takes, and work ethic beats talent anytime. Mm-hmm. You know, and my idea of work ethic was, let me make 20 songs. Yeah, I'm gonna get better because I'm making mad songs. Versus, let me study music theory. Let me study writing 101. Let me study creative writing, which is what I've been doing for the past, like, I want to say 6-7 months. I've been like honing in. Let me study screenwriting. Let me read digital filmmaking for filmmakers in this era. Let me actually study what I'm doing. Let me study emotional intelligence. Let me study, you know, spirituality. Let me tap into all of these things that are applicable. I'm trying to use a big word and I can't even get it out. Let me study all of these things that are going to play a role in everything.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Because I've been seeing, I would say in the last like 12 to 18 months of just, you know how people either tweet for the timeline or just tweet for themselves, or tweet not against the timeline, like as if it's like a digital current of water, whatever. Yeah. I've been seeing you just be kind of like owning your space in the social media thing and how you kind of like exist. Because like you be tweeting like how you feeling, but it's like in that moment of like, is this valid? Does this make sense? And you like to question it. And I feel like there was a time when I'll talk about it right now, when you were doing some prep for a project that's to be released. That'll be discussed when that's released. When you were looking at particular types of content and you were like, hey, I want to look for this. And you're just kind of like asking like, I want this type from this genre and this type of illustration, this type of animation. So when it comes to like that inspiration, like where did you know for like things like that when we're talking about the pivot and you're going into the direction to write this type of content? Like what fuels you were like, I found it, I'm honing into it, I'm moving into this with full force?
In terms of like my creative process?
Yes, like, that particular process, because I know for you it's always going to change. But for that one, I feel like once you kind of like got it, you kind of just went and you just did it. So,
I mean, in my mind, I consider myself like a digital Basquiat.
Okay, that makes sense.
Where it's like, I want to be able to be in a space where I'm like, hey, look, I'm making this TV show, I'm making this movie, and it's about, I don't know, whatever. Give me a, you know, it could be it could be about 2 birds in a birdhouse. I need 20 books on every species of birds. I need to know everything about birds so that this could be the best story possible. Like, I need to know what type of like materials are being made, and just like that's the type of artist that I am choosing to be for the rest of my life.
Okay.
Because when the art comes out, you'll see the intelligence, you'll see the genius behind it. You'll see, okay, he put some thought into this body of work, and it just lives on. It just lives on because, dude, I'm gonna have a family someday.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm gonna I have a business, a career. You know, so as I get older, like these are the questions I gotta ask myself. Like, what type of man am I gonna be? Am I gonna be the grind? Yeah. Nah, I want to be the nuanced. I want to be the artistic. I want to be the creative. And when everybody's going right, I'm gonna go left.
Okay.
Always. Because who is if not me? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like just doing like the backstories is something that I know everybody isn't doing. I know some people are just, you could see it in people's work when it's just like, look at what you manifested. This is something you spoke to me about months in advance. I know, and we the same sign. So I know you've been, meditating.
I've been in my head. I've been just.
I know you've been in your mind meditating how you want it to look, how you want it to feel, how you want it to see. We just said it before we even recorded. You was listening to mad podcasts. Like, and that's the type of art that's gonna live long. Like, and we're talking about social media. Social media to me is like Lion King, when all of like the
whole
animals coming and symbol, like looking at it like, oh shit. You know what I mean? You could be one of them running with everybody, or you could just be Simba looking at it like, oh fuck,
and just
like,
taking it in, just understanding
taking it all in,
mm-hmm.
and engaging like, oh, that's not something I want to get caught up in. You know what I mean? And look what happened to Simba. Simba got ran off, came back king. Mm-hmm. Simba didn't die. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just you knowing how to navigate these spaces, man. And mental health is also super important.
Of course.
I know we probably gonna tap into that at some point.
We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about it. Well,
yeah, like
within reason, because I didn't heavily put it, but whatever. All about the comfort.
And it's fun.
All about the comfort.
And it's fun, bro. The research is fun. Like,
yeah,
I get to watch I get to watch animes and movies and read books. I'm learning myself as I'm learning my art.
So this is very appreciative of you saying that. Yeah. So, I think when it comes to the way that you process a lot of things, you'll be telling me, oh, I should be paying attention to like this type of actor or this type of like show or watching this type of like movie. What I like is you're looking at different things for influence. So a lot of people are not going to be keen on, Japanese animation, or like recently when it comes to Parasite, when it comes to the director that, should have been probably got a lot more awards. But I feel like you're going outside of the box. I'm not just looking at America. I'm just looking at the world, period. So when it comes to like those influences, when you're watching the anime, when you're watching those international films, like how do you, take notes from that, take that experience? Because I feel like that's what sets you looking at it differently. Like you said, move left instead of right.
Yeah, I mean, everything I do is for my people. Mm-hmm. Everything I do is for my culture. And I think about, okay, what do they not have? What do we not have? What is missing in this space? What could we do differently? How could we kind of spark some minds, from artwork to titles to lyrics? And as I'm growing and evolving, I'm getting more and deeper into that, like that intentional space. So, I look at these films like German films. I like French films. I like Japanese films. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to bring this to America. Even animes, I'm going to bring this shot to America. Same thing with music. Let's bring this instrument in. Let's bring these sounds in. These things that are missing. Like, we have a long way to go just as like in film and music and just like, what the everyday norm could be, for what kids could be exposed to. The palette could be way more diverse. And I'm playing a role in that. I'm going to play a role in that. I am playing a role in that.
And I think when it comes to a lot of some of the individuals, I'm about to just do a quick, I call it a fire session. So I'm going to say some names and we just want to hear your thoughts on these individuals. Just to, see how you feel, because you've held a lot of these individuals in high esteem. So going off first, Spike Lee.
Spike is, man, he's the GOAT. He set it off. Like, dude, he's another one that's very, very particular. He's very, very, very detail oriented. Some people probably just watching his movies, but there's things Spike has done to create certain energies in his films just amongst the people.
I know what you're talking about. Is it School Days?
So detail oriented.
With the psychology of it.
The psychology, I don't want to make it a thing on here, but
you don't have to, but we just
okay, yeah,
we don't need to talk about it. We just how he tried to get them into that mindset.
Exactly. So just he's hella nuanced, and that's something I definitely admire. I definitely admire that about Spike.
Okay. Alfred Hitchcock.
Hitchcock is I haven't watched a Hitchcock film in so long, but what I can say is his tone, man. He sucks you in, with just the tone and the mood. He could really change your mood, man. He's a mood guy.
Okay.
And to be able to do that with film and from his era, with the limited resources that he had, for him to be able to do that with just black and white and lighting and shade, absolutely.
Okay.
Am I supposed to be describing them in one word?
No, this is just because after my research, these are people that you've said that have not even describing where I'm letting you just describe them. These are people that you've listened in a previous conversation with people that you look at them and it's there's things that you took from them. Yeah. So I wanted you to elaborate more because that answer, you got to list them, but you didn't get to say how you felt about it. So Keenan Ivory Wayans.
Family. Mm-hmm. Family. He's top of the list right now, energy-wise. Family. I wake up and imagine everything he's done for his family. That's why I'm the way I am now. I'm dog. My family is so talented, bro. You haven't even really been introduced to my older brother, Tim.
I'm going to be honest. When you said that, if I wish you could see my face expression I can feel my face expression. I felt stupid because I was I knew about one. I didn't know you had older ones.
Yeah,
so that's why I was just
my family, man. It's what he did is just historical, and not even his family, his extended family. Just to be able to do that on that level at that time period, man. That is why I'm here.
That multi-generational wealth, that legacy.
Why I'm here. That is absolutely why I do what I do. Because of that man.
Wow. Damn, I wish I saved him for last then. Tupac.
Man. Tupac left some gems on this earth. That's just a constant reminder. Just always speak your mind. Unapologetically. It's so many gems. It's not. I don't agree with everything Tupac. But there's certain things that he instilled in us and me, just as a youth, that I carry with me today. Yeah. So Tupac, he still resonates with me.
Okay. Dick Wolf.
Longevity. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. Quick hit.
Longevity.
Martin Scorsese.
Man. Scorsese, see, I have an interesting relationship with it.
Okay.
Because I love the layers of his films, See, he's similar to me in a sense where Scorsese, his style of filmmaking is probably one of my favorites because he doesn't have one shooting style. He shoots to the scene. Whatever the scene is, the camera got to do this. The camera got to do that. He's always like adapting and like shifting his shooting style so that it doesn't only fit like him, but it fits the script and it fits the story. Okay. And that's how I am. Like,
because you're not confined to having to do like the Julian Stephen style.
I don't have a style. Yeah. I don't have a style. You tell me what the story is, and then I find the style. You know, that's why I like being an executive producer is like my realm. Like, yeah, you call me a director. Directing, yes, of course. But like, whatever the story is, that's going to require a different type of arsenal. You know, maybe the camera moves. Maybe the camera's still. Maybe the camera's on a stabilizer. Maybe we have a rig somewhere. Maybe, you know, what is the story? Like, so I think Scorsese plays it. I could be pronouncing it wrong. Of course, Scorsese.
I thought it was Scorsese. Scorsese.
I've heard so many different. I've heard so many.
Shows.
So if I am pronouncing it wrong,
we'll fact check it. It's okay. We don't mean any respect to Martin, but this last person, Wes Anderson.
Yeah, I have his book in my crib. I have the hardcover. My brother actually got it from me. No, Janae got it from me. My love got it from me. Oh man, yeah, that's like the favorite. That's the GOAT. Yeah.
So,
yeah, nah.
Okay.
Yeah, she got it from me years ago. She got it from me years ago.
Good save.
I saved it. I felt her energy. I didn't even look. I felt it.
Because I also felt it. I didn't look up. What? Got a gnat in here?
The book, his style, dog, is so uniform and disciplined. It's like you can't say anything bad about it because it's undeniably him. You know, he's like in his own world, so deep and invested into his Wes Anderson style and craft that it's like you can't even say, oh, that I don't like that shot. You don't even know what that shot is because that's Wes Anderson. The color palettes, the shots, he's doing so much in one moment that you can't even critique it. You just observe. It's really like art, like you walking through a museum. And I appreciate him for that. So, yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. Because I know from a previous interview when I was doing my research, I was like, just wonder like more because I know they were just asking, you know, people that you looked up to or people that
I think I remember that, and I was just naming names.
Yeah, you were just naming them, but you didn't get to follow through on like each of them because I feel like some of them, when I looked at the list, knowing from my conversation with you, I understood maybe like half of them. Like I can see, like Spike, I knew. Tupac, I get it. Wayne's makes complete sense. Just understanding your connection with the 90s and just understanding like talent and family. But I was like, which also makes me have to expand my horizon of, you know, not just looking at just black creators, but all creators. And I think that's what's fascinating.
I'm a fashion and art dude. Mm-hmm. I'm a fashion and art like junkie. Like if I could have it my way right now, my crib would be filled with, you know, black art on the walls. I would have art books all over the place. It would be a mess. Like, if it would be crazy. Like, I'm talking like, you know, we could go down the list. Eames, Ellsworth Kelly. Like, these are the people that I look at that create products. They create art, you know. And it's just a beautiful thing, that array. And that's just something that I think we need to do for ourselves. Like, yeah, I love art.
So, and... Actually, I'm going to do this before I get into the next thing I wanted to say. So just going back into, you know, coming up in New York City, meeting all these different types of lifestyle, different types of ways of being. Yeah. And then you know, doing music, doing writing, you just having this phenomenal talent. And now it's kind of like this series that you're working on, but I want to build up to that first. I want to hear some thoughts on 90s shows of yours. So I made a list of a lot of the 90s shows, right? So similar to the list of like those other creators, right? Yeah. But just straight off the back, I'm going to run through them. I just want to hear your thoughts on it because I think this section right here is going to really help people understand not only just your vision on the 90s and just creating period, but how much reverence you have for those things because your projects have so much love and respect in it. don't think sometimes people could see it sometimes when it comes to how much homages that you give to a lot of these different types of platforms. And as someone that knows you, and, you know, I don't talk to you, but I observe like how you do it. And it's like, you know, it's amazing. It's
That's
like
why I hate the internet, man. Text me. You got my number. Hit me directly. That's the type of person I am. You know, I forget that people just observe a lot nowadays.
Nah, you know, but we work, and that's why I observe, you know, respect the space. But get into it. We're going to start off with Martin, the show.
Freedom.
Okay.
Freedom reign. Like, they said, action, Martin, do what you do. For a black man on television, like, a funny, like, comedic, freedom to be yourself unapologetically, Martin, like, freedom.
Okay.
That cast was able, freedom.
Okay. Fresh Prince.
See, Fresh Prince was just lessons learned, like, you know, for kids that didn't have fathers, you know. I think that was like the show to watch. There's so many lessons to be learned in every episode, you know, how to treat your peers. And so I would just leave it at lessons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Living Single.
You know, I didn't really watch Living Single growing up, I'll be honest.
Okay.
I've watched it now, and I want to say, like, Friends.
You mean
Friends?
You mean the real Friends?
The real Friends.
The real Friends.
And that's what it's always going to be, no matter what, like, they try to tell you.
Try to bring it back and whatever.
Yeah, that's the real Friends.
Okay. A Different World.
A Different World was cool. It was fun.
Just your feelings. This is the Julian Stephen interview. So
I don't think it was as accurate.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like I liked it. It was fun. But when I got to college, I was like, this ain't. You know what I mean? But Dwayne Wade was like, you know, definitely somebody that I wanted to be like. You know, he's like one of my top characters of all time. Like, yeah.
Okay. Wayne's Brothers.
See, Wayne's Brothers I loved because it just reminded me so much of me and Justin in real life. Even the way we are in appropriate culture, it reminded me so much. Like Pops, D, like I love that. That dynamic was like, that's one of my favorite sitcom dynamics. The brother, you know, the father. That's essentially, you know, what it is with my family. So, yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you watched Jamie Foxx.
Whew. Yeah. See, Jamie Foxx was evolved, man. That's from the same creator of Martin. So that was just, you know, Jamie Foxx being Jamie Foxx. Another like elevated Martin, you know. And it just self-love, man. He was unapologetically himself. And, you know, for a black man, you don't really see that as much on television nowadays, like where they could just be themselves, funny. He wasn't playing a character. He was being Jamie Foxx. And I just, you know, you gotta just admire that.
In Living Color.
Revolutionary.
And I'm not sure if you watch this. I mean, you watch a lot. So Family Matters. What do you think about that one?
It was dope. You know, after a while, it started to get out of hand. You know, They started to run Steve Urkel into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he should have loved Myra. She was holding him down.
I mean, we could talk till we blue in the face of how right you are, but you know what?
He should have held Myra down. She was holding him down.
That wasn't a very healthy relationship. That was some toxic.
That was super toxic, bro. She loved the hell out of that man. You better love that woman.
Yeah.
So
the reason why I wanted to touch on to these things before we get into one of your, like, it's not even to make sure I list it correctly, because it's not one type of entity that this thing is now. It's kind of metamorphosized. Trying to be smart, guys. Metamorphosized into it being as you always told me when it comes to like the first season, when I watched it and how I met you, like just watching that series and develop of that first season, that you wanted it to be a platform for not just, you know, creatives and talent, but just, you know, in front of the camera and behind the camera. And that's going to lead into my next thing after this. But appropriate culture, I know everybody keeps asking about, you know, how do you pick the cast and stuff like that. But I was told from a little birdie at some point in this month that appropriate culture wasn't even the original name of it, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Nah.
Okay.
It evolved.
It evolved from it. So you don't need to say the name, but from that name, right?
Yeah.
How did you get that name and going to this new name? So you don't have to mention that name if you don't want to, but how did that transition? Because I feel like a name, when it comes to you, is very intentional. And I feel like that name will kind of like point the direction of where this journey is going to go.
The show is a platform. That's what it is. For creatives, it's for artists, it's for comedians, you know, influencers. That's always what it was, you know. And from my perspective, I always had a knack for talent. People that I see potential in, like people that I know, like you're a star. And where are the shows for these people that are working, contributing to the culture every single day? You know, Hollywood is all the way up here. You know, TV is all the way right here. But who's in this space, content-wise, TV show-wise, you know, creating opportunities? You know what I mean? Like, appropriate culture was the first acting opportunity for a lot of people. I imagine it inspired a lot of people to, like, act on their show ideas or whatever it may be. So for the title itself, I knew that it couldn't be something in a narrow space. Like it couldn't be like, I don't know, like it couldn't be like it needed to have like a general grand title.
To allow it to grow.
To allow it to grow.
Okay.
And evolve into what is going, what it is now, what it's becoming.
Because it's pretty much limitless. Seeing
The Office, you know?
And like it becoming its own universe, its own ecosystem, its own cultivation tank.
Absolutely.
So I think that was a pretty cool fun fact of like, that's not even the original name. Is like, and then after, you know, getting to know you and just thinking about it, I can't think of it being any other name. I think it just fits. And I feel like when it comes to that, and you are building your own production, building, is it built or is you're still building? It's always building.
Yeah.
Still building.
Still building.
I think with that level of control, when it's like how you operate as someone that's musician, a director, a writer, an actor, a producer, I just think that because you have all of these insights, it just makes that experience much better. So when it comes to all of that, just bring it all into it, going right back into it, the production side and all those things. I knew with season 1 you said, and you're just so competitive with yourself, like, because that's all it is. You're just taking it to the next level of that transition from season 1 quality level, and then you really went to season 2 even better, and you're still finishing some things with season 2 and getting that done. Like, how do you keep doing it? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like, it sounds super cliche and nuanced, and I really hate saying it out loud because it just came to me, but it's like a lot of people, sometimes they get complacent, and I feel like with you, this entire conversation, I know you're not a complacent person, but how do you always push the envelope? Because for me, there's a lot of things that I didn't see until you pulled me to the side in that first season where you could like, I could have did this, I could have did this. And it's like, damn, I wouldn't have seen that if you had said that. And now it's season 2 and we're seeing like the upping of the quality. And even then you could probably look at it now. It's like, damn, I can make that better. Like, how do you do it? Like, is it kind of similar to what we talked about with Kobe and the ballerina? Like, you just always kind of going back in the lab and thinking about it.
Absolutely. I have a background in TV production. I've worked in TV production for years, and I've seen like how network TV shows are made. But at the same time, I'm also studying equipment. You know, I'm also sharpening my sword. I'm always trying to push the envelope, and I study the culture, and I study it for a reason of how can I expand the brand? How can I evolve this? How can I do something differently that's not being done over here? Like, oh, everybody doing this. I'm like, like, what can we do to entertain people? Essentially, entertainment and experience are my two gifts to this universe. Always. Ideas. That's all I am. Full of ideas. And I'm always, how can I make this the best idea?
Okay.
How can I push this? So yeah, absolutely. Season 3, I'm already like, oh yeah. I'm looking at it like, oh yeah. Like, I'm ready. I'm just blessed, to be, I'm in a space now where I'm just grateful for that ability. To be able to have that bird's eye view on my own work. So just for me, it's just like, yeah, man, like, why stop here? Like, let's just continue to grow and continue to evolve.
I think looking at the evolution of the characters for season 1 and season 2, and just understanding of you are really set on this being like such a launching pad for not only yourself, which is very honorable, is almost amazing because a lot of people for the self, and you quick name drops like we have Chloe. She moved out to Texas. She's doing her thing. We have Alexa Layton, amazing talent. We have Julius Dukes. We have Song Dance. We have your brother. You have your father in there, and then you have more guest appearances of numerous people in the city and numerous people that are doing things. And it's just like you mentioned before, like your eye for talent, like, and even putting me in a role. It's just like a lot of things where you just see it manifesting. Like, is that like you just always searching for it? Like, because now we're talking about like the casting director hat. I didn't even say that before, but it's like, looking at things like, I know this person can do it. And then when you see them do it, it's like, oh man, I didn't even know that person could bring that out. So,
I'm in a space where I don't want to be that person right now. Okay. Like looking at people like, oh, this person talented. Like, I'm realizing now from a production perspective.
Okay.
The casting department does that. The director does this. Like, that's like me and Julius have a joke on set. Like, oh, that sounds like a job for this person. That sounds like an audio job, or that sounds like this person's job. We make that joke, and it's very real. I know who I want in season 3. I already have my list. Like, this is who I want. So yeah, I still like, man, for now I'm in a space where this is my list. Reach out to these people, see if they'd be interested versus me being like the direct guy.
Okay. So that means that you're in a position to, you're not chained to having to do it all. And I think that's something that I don't think I've ever thought of you as that person, but you're open to allowing someone else to be that, because you feel like you already know, you see the vision, the directing and the producing and the acting itself. Those are all heavy hats.
Yeah, I mean, my mission essentially is to create jobs and opportunities. Creating jobs is like what TV shows actually do and achieve for people. There's so many opportunities, so many positions and roles that need to be played behind the scenes, even in the shows. From extras get paid. They get paid.
Yeah, because when they're unionized, right? They have like that daily rate.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So I have some. These are actually questions I just thought of just now because now you have me thinking.
Picking my brain.
No, I am, because I'm thinking, because you are well versed in collaboration, right? And this is not you thinking about casting, but now it's like I'm gonna put you in different hats right now, right? So we're gonna think.
I got to get better at collaboration, but
okay, that's interesting. I'm going to hold my question before and let you talk about this. What do you mean? What do you mean you got to get better because I feel like you have Nick Fury like qualities. Like for you to bring the type of people that you have for season 1, season 2, those episodes where you showed it in like those, you know, those spaces where people could watch it, and you bring in all those people. You're partnering with, you know, the amazing, you know, Janae Brown and a lot of other people that help bring, you know, all that together as a big unit. That's collaboration. I'm not telling you to work with people you don't like. I'm just saying that that's really good. So
in a sense where it's like that's a big mantle. That's a big like, oh shit, this is what we doing. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And before I'm like, yo, I got a show. What's up? I got a show. What's up? And now it's more like, damn. We gonna need a casting department. We gonna need an art department. We gonna need a costume department.
Because now you feel the weight of it. Because now
it's a production.
This is not no game. This is some serious thing.
And that's the pivot. That goes back to the pivot. Like I've been pivoting, like making a show. I could make a show. I got this. Like I could do this. Oh, I'm like, oh, this is a production. Now let's get the lighting department to take care of the lighting. I'm not gonna carry the lights anymore. Like let's figure this. Yeah.
So now it's going back to my previous thing. So musician, actor, director, producer. So I'm going to start off with musician, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to soundtrack, and this is outside of like someone like Preach Go, shout out to Preach Go, because you guys collaborate extremely well. If you had to choose between, and I'm not sure if you actually studied other people that do soundtracks in like movies and television show, but is there any like, I'm not even going to give you a limit of numbers, just any people that you would love to just compose a soundtrack with, just go off. Who would you do if you could?
John Bryan.
Yeah. John Bryan.
He just did Mac's last album, and he did I want to say Late Registration with Kanye, and I think he did some pieces on Her as well. I like John Bryan. There's I can't think of his name, but he did the soundtrack for Get Out and Us. Google it if you can.
I'm gonna do that because I have.
I don't want to say Robert Glasper. Who else is the dude? He did Hello. He did Dear White People. What's homie's name? He does the music for Dear White People. He's dope as well.
I think it's composed by Get Out's composed by Michael Abels. Is that who you're talking about?
It could be.
Okay. Again, because I just started getting into soundtracks just because of you with the Appropriate Culture soundtrack, which I think is amazing.
Yeah.
When your album, which is still an album, but it's like the soundtrack that you'll have it playing in certain things where you kind of get the vibe of the characters, right? So I just wanted you to put on that musician hat who you want to work on with that. So did a musician hat as an actor, right? Just go off, like no limits. Who would you like to work with? If as in your acting mode, who would you want to work with? Like if you had to choose like other actors to work with and someone to direct you, who would that be?
For somebody to direct me?
Yeah, like, but not even just director, but like if you had to choose like being in a film or a TV show, who would you want to play across? Like you or Julian, and you're playing with, I don't know, Will or Denzel or, you know, Angela Bassett. Who would you want as the actor, like the actors around you, and who would you think would be a great director for that kind of like ensemble? That's a bit. That's like a pretty.
That's a long list.
You can shorten it. This is up to you.
Since we in appropriate mode, I'm not gonna like talk about like my other genre.
Okay.
You know, I'm in a space where one thing at a time. So I'll say, I'll give you two.
Go ahead.
Director, Ava DuVernay.
Ooh, okay. That's a good choice. Okay.
To act across from me would be, this is like a comedy though. This is comedy.
Dude, this is you. Whatever you are trying to build with
Lakeith
this.
Stanfield, Tracy Ellis Ross.
Ooh.
Comedy.
I didn't even know that I wanted that. I can see that. And it's the three of you guys. It'll be you, Lakeith, and Tracy.
Yeah.
And Ava's direct. That's amazing. Okay. And it's a comedy.
Yeah.
Yo, that's wild. Okay. I hope you just.
I'm envisioning it, thinking about how the scene would go.
I'm seeing a lot of the back and forth between you three because I feel like we're realizing with Lakeith, and I'm just seeing with his run of movies with Knives Out. He was in Uncut Gems. He was in missing one of them. He's in The Photograph. We gotta watch that, and I just feel like his range is.
Photograph was amazing.
I'm going to watch that.
We
soon.
need like 10 of those.
Really?
Absolutely.
Oh man.
Absolutely. We need like 10 photographs dropping a month.
That's a lot. Okay, hold up.
No, but like, come on. Let's like think about how many romantic comedies we get a year or in a decade in comparison to like other, you know? Like, that's super fair if we really think about it.
Okay.
And I want to go to New Orleans too. Like that, the scenery.
Okay. You just brought me another idea, another question. Because now we've reached basically we're freestyling right now. Because
that's fine.
You got through something. Now
I'm enjoying this. This is a conversation. This is therapeutic for me.
This is super organic right now, guys. Yeah. Right now, I already went through my list, and Julian just expanded past that. So you said New Orleans, and I know you just love the details and like the visuals and stuff like that, right? Give me. I hate limiting you. Give me a couple of cities that you would love to film in. Like, you just don't even worry about the budget. Don't even worry about nothing. Just you and your eye. Where would you want to film? Like, anywhere. Just don't even limit yourself until you just get tired of just
anywhere
answering.
In the world.
Anywhere. And don't limit the questions because, you know.
Okay. Tokyo. Ghana.
Ooh, okay.
Tanzania?
Oh, we so horrible. Oh my God.
Yeah. Las Vegas.
Okay, Las Vegas.
New Orleans.
That's 5.
Somewhere in South America with the favelas.
Okay.
I'll give you one more. See, now I'm thinking about, damn, is that safe for the crew? I'm like, is that a safe place for us to go shoot? I'm thinking about everybody's safety. I want to say somewhere like in the desert. It doesn't need to be like...
Not even... So you think it's Sahara? Sahara Desert? Or just...
It don't got to be nothing crazy. It can
just
be a desert with some dunes.
What I like about this question is... I feel like every choice that you picked is extremely distinct, right? And I feel like when it comes to that question, the only one that I probably could have figured was Tokyo, just because of the anime thing. And I feel like when it comes to anime, how well they represent Tokyo. Like, it's so well that I've been in Tokyo, I've been to Kyoto, I've been in some of these cities because of how well they tell those stories.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating when you say New Orleans because of all that history, the food and the culture and, you know, the religion and the spirituality of those places. And you think about the crew, so that shows you leadership. So I'm guessing, obviously, we're saying it, but, you know, in the future, you want to, like, be in this type of international filming type thing. So when it comes to the production and all those things and the storytelling, like what is within that, like the primary central force within you that keeps you going with that storytelling? Like you all these amazing cities, all these amazing locations, but like what is it that is like this story or these stories that you want to keep telling? Like, is this we can do it for other people like us to keep doing more? Is it just what is it?
You mean like why do I keep going?
I mean, that's cliche because I know for you it's not even a pursuit of anything material because you already discussed earlier with the music where it's just like you're trying to get like the accolades and stuff like that. Now it's just as a person that's radiating, you know, as much good energy as possible, you know. Like, yeah.
And I wasn't always that.
But it took you that self-awareness to stop and do
absolutely.
that.
Now I'm all about, you know, expansion. Like, it's time to expand. Like, you know, but why do I keep going? Stories don't stop coming. You know, God.
Okay.
You know, like stories come to me in my sleep. I wake up, I get a story. That's not me. You know, like there's stories that have been instilled in me since I've been like 20, 19. And I'm pretty sure like a lot of filmmakers have this same, you know, experience. Like some may credit it to God, you know, a higher power, higher source. But like it's not me. You know, like I was sitting here to tell these stories. The stories don't stop coming. Like when they stories don't stop coming. I can't explain to you like where they come from, why they come. Well, why they come, I understand. You know, I'm doing why, but like let's have this conversation in like July. You know,
Or like the next year, because you know we're always growing.
Yeah.
We're always going. But
and then you'll be like, damn, like where did that come from? You know, and like how he did it was just like, whoa. So I just credit it all to God at the end of the day. And I'm like, you know, I've just been work through me, you know, use me as a vessel to like tell these stories and get these stories to the people. And like, it's just been like a really, really like beautiful feeling to like really like bask in that idea of like letting go and letting God flow through me.
Okay. So I want to bring everything full circle, right?
Okay.
Everything full circle. So we spent some time on the television and movies recently. Talked about the writing. When you were reading, winning those contests. Talk about the music. And I feel like now when you're understanding, you know, great leadership is not really just, you know, us yelling at people to do what we want, but just how do we serve other people to get to their destination, and just, you know, how do we conclude this without spoiling any future projects. But with you right now, when it comes to this entire experience of you being, you know, Julian Stephen, and just the city, traveling to LA, and actually speaking of it, real quick, I feel like when you went to LA, you went to some super deep training montage. Like I felt like, and I don't even know why I didn't write that down, but it just naturally just came up.
Yeah.
How was that? Because when I was seeing, you know, again, observation, and I know you're 3 hours behind, so I wasn't going to hit you. Like I wanted you to experience that with the music, with the art. How was that trip for you? Because I feel like you were there for like a couple of weeks,
I was there for a minute.
Yeah.
Spiritually transformed.
Whatever. I'm not trying to put people try to track you, but just like you were there.
Spiritually transformed forever. You know, like I'll never be the same ever. Like this journey I'm on is a God-given journey. Like I'm blessed to be here, you know, and my story is our story. Like everything I'm doing from this moment on is purposeful, intentional, like being present, you know, being a good human is what it's all about. Like being in the moment, like just pouring love back in. It's all ties into what we do, whether you're an athlete, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're, you know, that's what is important. That's who we need to be. You know, I'm doing this for the rest of my life, you know, and I imagine you're doing this for the rest of your life too.
That's it. That's all we're doing.
You know, but at some point you got to realize recording or doing the work over and over and over. Yeah, you're going to get better at the work, but like that inner work, dog, that's really where the real change happens. Because then when you look inward, you stop looking outward for things. You have everything. You look at it like, oh, it comes to you naturally. Just like let's make it full circle back to the writing competitions. I wasn't expecting anything. I just put my soul on that paper. You feel me? Mm-hmm. And like over time in life, as you navigate, you start to lose sense of the essence, the core, like the truth, like of why you're doing what you're doing. And for me, I needed to ask myself those questions. Like I never asked myself those questions. I just been doing it for so long. I just been doing it. So now I'm in a space where, yeah, they doing it, but they just doing it because everybody else is doing it. Yeah, he's doing it, but I could tell he not like this person's not doing it like, but which isn't like any of my business.
Yeah, it's not from a place of judgment. It's more about you see them.
It's just from a place of, just understanding why we're here, like having that deeper purpose and that deeper meaning, and everybody doesn't carry that with them moment to moment. And that's something that I've been like really, really basking in, bro. Like that bliss. It's not happiness, because happiness is like, I know there's a comparison between happiness and bliss, but just like me just looking at it like, yeah, I'm blessed. I'm really blessed, man. Like, and you just don't take your gifts and your talents for granted. Like, we have it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's just a beautiful feeling, bro.
So, I have to remember that whenever you're like in conversation with like Juju, it's like a ton of gems. Yeah. So, and just to like conclude with this Dreams Money Can Buy episode, and I was gonna say, because you probably said at least like 10 to 15, 20 gems. Just something for you when it comes to this type of conversation. We're talking about like from start to like progress, because this is not over. It's not finished. Start to progress, like right here. Like, what would you say to like the person listening when it comes to them doing what they got to do? Like, what type of gem would you give in addition to what you said before, like to get them kind of like going towards where they need to go? You can't tell them, but like what type of quote, type of energy you would tell them to like, yo, just blase. You know what I'm saying? Type of word of wisdom, or word of like, not even wisdom, not to be like arrogant, but like, because that sounds kind of pompous, you know what I'm saying? But something to like kind of like help them, steer them in a proper direction.
Learn yourself before you learn your craft. Don't look for yourself in the world. Don't do that. You'll never find yourself looking for yourself in the world. You gotta like, what is that? The rose grows from the concrete. Yeah. Look within. As cliche as it sounds, like, look within. We already have it. I could be in a room by myself, pen to paper, write a script, write a song. I could recite it out loud. Nobody heard it, but I still made the song. I made the script.
I see what you're doing. Like, you know what I mean? Fell in the forest. Did it go down? But it did.
Yeah. Yeah. So don't go looking for yourself in the world, because you already have the gold. You already have the gold. You go looking for yourself in the world, you're gonna have a few people that's gonna tell you, "Oh, that's silver, that's bronze." Then you're gonna start looking at your gold like,
it's not worth nothing.
You had it. You got it. Like, yeah, so look in.
All right, Julian, I really appreciate you on this. Let's do some quick tags when it comes to you on social media, when it comes to Appropriate Culture, like the YouTube and production company. Let's do some name drops real quick. End it off. It's all you.
At Julian Stephen, Instagram, Twitter. Appropriate Culture, Instagram, Appropriate Cult, Twitter, appropriateculture.tv. Janae Brown to Perfection Agency.
Shot.
Jacquees Thomas, director. Jack Silver, Option TV, the production company. Yeah, all love, always.
All right, guys, with that being said, this is your host, Skip from BK. You can find me on pretty much everything. I'm even still there on Tumblr. I haven't touched it in ages for whatever reason.
I want to get back on Tumblr, bro.
I need to write, man. I do, but we'll talk about that off. But guys, just make sure you subscribe, like, rate, share with your friends. Hopefully you got some gems, and reach out to Drew if you want to collaborate. This is not free, so you're gonna have to pay for those services. And make sure you come with good energy.
Seriously,
good energy, seriously. Only good energy. And
work is not free in 2020.
And onward, guys. So please be with you, and we'll catch you on the next episode of Dreams Money Can Buy. Deuces. I know you're probably getting tired of this little trick of a post-credit scene. But yes, so you just listened to Julian Stephen. So great talent, great creative, great person individually. So make sure you follow Julian Stephen on all platforms at, Julian Stephen on Twitter and on Instagram. Also follow Appropriate Culture. I believe it's Appropriate Culture on Instagram and Appropriate Cult on Twitter. And just make sure you're subscribed to it on YouTube. They are, really laying out more episodes from season 1 and season 2. So season 1's already complete. Season 2 probably will be complete, hopefully, at that time. Julian is a creative, so, things will be posted when they're ready. So shout out to him. I am your host once again, Skip from BK. So you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, astronaut, shield, suit, whatever that thing is. You see the logo on his shoulder. That's probably me. I'm everywhere. And if you want to keep in the know for like Dreams Money Can Buy, definitely follow Kovapo on Twitter and Instagram. Or you can just subscribe to the mailing list for the website Kovapo, just to, be on the P's and Q's for this podcast and many other things that are coming along on that platform. And it would be a travesty if I didn't mention the folks from Slept On Creatives. They're the reason why the audio sounds great. They're the reason why the video looks absolutely magnificent. So those individuals, it's a great production company. So if you definitely want to get that work done, it's there. So follow them on IG, Slept On Creatives, and follow them on YouTube when it comes to, typing the same name, Slept On Creatives. So that was the plug. See you next week. Peace.